Well, good morning, everybody. I have our technician David back here guiding me along the way. That's what it's about, being on a spiritual path. It's about being guided along the way, whether it's through a fellow technician, a friend, or just you sitting alone in prayer. It's all being guided. So, welcome everybody. Let's get this, see if I can get this to move. Oh, not quite yet. Let's try now. Well, we'll just touch it by hand.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll just do it by hand if it doesn't work the next time. Okay, we'll do it by touch. So welcome to Unity. For those of you who haven't been here as often, or if it's your first time, we are sharing space with Claremont Center for Spiritual Living, here in Claremont, of course. And we're really grateful for the relationship we have with this community. We're both New Thought, and I figure God has space for everybody, right? And we have so much to learn from one another. So I'm glad you've joined us here today. I'm stepping in for Reverend Jen because she's on sabbatical for a few months because she's writing a book. And it's a book on all kinds of fascinating interfaith quotes and theories and just all these wonderful writings on New Thought. And New Thought being all the different faiths that come together in one unity of path. Normally she's here, but today, because Kwong, her partner, has a lot of friends together and Kwong plays soccer, they're all watching the World Cup. So she had to be present, of course, as many of us do. So before we get started, we're going to sing the song, My Country 'Tis of Thee, because our focus this month is on the divine idea of we the people. Can you hear me okay? Okay, I saw you guys speaking and you look puzzled, so I just wanted to check in, make sure you can hear my voice, and everything I'm saying is clear. Do you have any questions? No? Okay, just making sure. I just want to make sure we're giving everybody what they need here. So we're going to sing My Country 'Tis of Thee because we're exploring the concept of we the people because we just had our 250th anniversary with this country. So let's sing My Country 'Tis of Thee. My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. My native country, thee, land of the noble free, thy name I love. I love thy rocks and rills, thy woods and templed hills, my heart with rapture fills, like that above. Let music swell the breeze and ring from all the trees, sweet freedom song. Let mortal tongues awake, let all that breathe partake, let rocks their silence break, the sound prolong. Our fathers, God, to thee, author of liberty, to thee we sing. Long may our land be bright with freedom's holy light. Protect us by thy might, great God our King. So if I didn't introduce myself, I might not have. My name is Reverend Drack, just to let you know. And I assist Reverend Jen, the cover for her when she's gone. So let's just pray. Let's center ourselves in that energy of prayer. And if you feel comfortable, feel free to close your eyes and take in a nice deep breath, breathing in and breathing out. Feeling the weight of your presence in the chair and the presence of those around you. We come here today as a collective group of souls on a spiritual path, knowing that God is guiding this moment intimately right here and now. We trust that as a community, we have come here in like consciousness with the desire to grow, to learn, and to fellowship in spirit. We're grateful to be here today to learn more about our country's history because it impacts us. We feel this in our roots of who we are, in the marrow of our bones, as I like to say, because we carry the spirit and the experiences of our ancestors, each in our own unique way. So we come here with gratitude, knowing we're going to learn more about ourselves, our community, and what it means to live in this country, what it means to step into courage and to experience tenacity in spirit as we explore some of the people in our history, women who have set the table for so much here that we're going to learn and that we carry with us now. So we're grateful for this opportunity to come together to learn and to grow. And so it is. So it is. And so let's join in the words that Jesus taught his disciples and all of those who are present in his life about the truth of reality. So we've got some announcements, and we always have extras because Reverend Jan is pretty active in our community, especially in Pomona, so it's really good to keep up on what's going on in our community as well as our community right here in this room. After every single service, we have a meal that's always prepared with love, and we sit around the table and talk about things just the way Jesus and his disciples did, which I think is pretty special. I think that's the way to go. So please, if you can, join us afterwards. We have some pasta, and we've got cookies, and we've got all kinds of treats back there. And coffee, of course. Also, this is pretty neat. We've got a bunch of books back in the office there, and you're free to take as many as you'd like. You can keep them or pass them on to a friend, or you can use it like a library and bring them back. And if you have something, too, that you would like to contribute as far as books go, feel free to bring it. This is our ongoing commitment to developing spiritually in our growth and knowledge, is that we provide this together as a community. It was fun because there are a few of them I looked at back then. I said, I've seen that before, and I've read this, and then I'll stand there and I'll start reading them again. It's kind of fun. And as I mentioned, Reverend Jan is on sabbatical, and she'll be back in October. Although, you will be seeing her here, so she usually comes for service today with the exception of that, of course. It's a time to find rest and to do those things you love to do that you don't always have the time to do. So because Reverend Jan is on sabbatical, we're still doing the meditation by Zoom that we do, but it's every other week. And our next one is going to be on July 29th. They're on Wednesdays, and it's from 4:30 to 5:30. Also, there's an e-blast that gets sent out weekly, and you should find that in there as well, so you can just click on the link from your computer and join if you want. Kind of handy. Also, there's a book study that's going on, and like the meditation, it's every other week right now too. And the next one is going to be on July 23rd. And it's from 7 to 8, it's by Zoom. And this too is sent through an e-blast in your email, so you should be able to find that in there, and that link is there, so you can just click on it and join. Also, I put this every week because I just want to say thank you to all the people that took the banner making course. There's some really beautiful banners that were made, and they're going to be on display next month. And I think some people might even talk about it during one of our services. She does these classes fairly regularly, so when we have another one coming up, we'll make sure that's announced and you get an invite through the e-blast. It's a very creative thing to do, and a lot of us refer to Scripture as the living Word. Well, this is like living Word. I love that. Brought to life. Also, after service today, after we have our meal at 2:30, we have an intuitive ideas. She's actually sitting back there. Who's going to be? We're going to be exploring and learning about mystical and spiritual experiences. Or you could actually say something if you'd like. I don't mind if no. Okay. She's going to be sharing her personal experiences from a book she's writing as well. And I went to it last week, and it's really worth it. It's just a nice, rich spiritual experience to have. You learn a lot. So I'm definitely going to be there. Also, the Upland Interfaith Council and Upland Library has conversations about God there regularly. We usually I'm trying to think of which one it is. Is that the Wednesday? I think it's Thursday. I think it's the third. Is it Tuesday?
Yeah.
But it's July 21st. They do it once a month, and it's at 6 in the evening. And this time they're going to be talking about what's called a common endeavor, realizing the promise of America. It's the letter issued by the Baha'i faith community that was intended to support community. I don't know if any of you have met anybody from that particular faith community, but they're wonderful to talk with because they have a very, I'm trying to think of the word for it, they have a very expansive spiritual perspective. It's very open and embracing. And I really enjoy our time. In fact, we're going to have a group today, the Interfaith Circle, at 5 o'clock here in this chapel, led by their community, where everybody from different faiths comes together, sits in a circle of chairs, and everybody who's comfortable with it shares a scripture or a song or a special quote that speaks to them spiritually. It's a very rich experience, and I'm going to be here for that, so hopefully I'll see some of you too. Also, we have somebody, she's not here today because of the game, but Nancy Zalazar, she teaches sky breathing. And it's a really remarkable meditation practice. I've actually taken one of her courses as well. And she's been teaching this to kids in Pomona. And these are little kids in grade school, and she's actually traveled around the country doing this, helping these kids to learn how to regulate their nervous systems and to center themselves and be grounded at such a young age. It's a powerful tool. They're having a fundraiser. It's going to be a dance-a-thon August 16th. I think it's Saturday, 9:30 in the morning to 12:30. That's the information up there, and there's information on that in your e-blast too. So you have that. I would definitely be there. I love to dance, so I know I'm getting there. Next one here. Ruth's not here today either. Everybody's gone because of the game. She heads this. She goes to United Church of Christ as well as our community, and they are collecting non-perishable food and school backpacks, lunch boxes, hygiene products for kids and families and students who right now are under the threat of ICE and just cannot safely go out and shop. So we're really trying to help these individuals right now because it's such a tough time. We're collecting stuff in the back. So if you have anything to drop off, please do feel free to do it. And what Ruth does is she drops all of this off at United Church of Christ in Claremont. Okay, so now is the time of blessing of donations. And before I say this too, I just want to thank everybody who donates in other ways too, because it's so easy to think donation is just money. There's time, there's talent, there's so many ways to tithe. And we have people who bring food every single week, that set up the coffee back there, that clean things up, that reach out when somebody's hurting in the community. It's just, this is a very loving and embracing community that tithes in many ways. So thank you for all the tithes that you bring. So let's bless the donations. And speak with me. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all I am, all I give, all I do, and all that I receive. And I like to say this because another community I'm with says, I am prosperous now. They always say that at the end, I am prosperous now. All right. People are just passing around the basket. While she's passing that around, Jackie, if you could come up, and we have the daily word. I have so much fun finding the images for the daily word.
Well, that's not the message, though.
That's not the message?
It's world peace.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm. So, world peace.
No, I've seen that. I've seen that on bumper stickers. Well, that's okay. We'll just leave that up there anyway.
Okay.
Good
morning.
Good morning.
As we were discussing, the words for today are world peace. The peace of my soul brings peace to the world. Together, the peace of my soul brings peace to the world. The Bible's sacred pairings, lions and lambs, swords and plowshares, reveal that peace becomes possible when I and others hold life's polarities in harmony. These verses remind me that wholeness arises not from opposition, but from integration. Within all people, strength and tenderness, boundaries and compassion, courage and vulnerability arise from the same divine source. Lion and lamb are not rivals, they are facets of one creation. Sword and plow are not contradictions, they are different tools for transformation. Peace begins when we see that opposites, both within and around us, can be allies rather than adversaries. As this realization takes root, any impulse to defend or harden begins to fade. And from Isaiah 2:4, they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation.
I find it interesting that I put forgive up there. It's such an integral part of what you read about. Maybe that's meant for me or somebody in the room, who knows? That's a part of it, isn't it? So the next song that we're going to do is If I Had a Hammer, the Hammer song. Because Jackie today is going to be talking about the women in our history of this country, very powerful and courageous women who really stepped into their strength to effect great change in this country. So, the Hammer song.
I'll do my best with this arrangement. Here we go. If I had a hammer, I'd hammer it all. Need that hammer to lead me all over this land. A hammer of danger, a hammer of warning, a hammer That was. If I had a gun, I'd bring it morning and bring it evening all over this land. I'd bring out danger, I'd bring out warning, I'd bring out love between my brothers and sisters all over this land. If I had a song, I'd sing it in the morning and sing it in the evening all over this land. I'd sing out danger, I'd sing out warning, I'd sing out love between my brothers and sisters all over this land. Now I've got a hammer, now I've got a bell, and I've got a song to sing all over this land. It's a bell of justice, it's a bell of freedom, it's a song of love between brothers and sisters all over this land. C is better than Z. I was I'm gonna hammer opera.
Oh, have you done that? That could be a little more interesting, I would say.
No, thank you.
No, she's like, no, thank you, but thank you. So, as I mentioned earlier, we're exploring the divine idea of we the people because we just had our 250th anniversary as the United States of America. And so we're exploring the founding metaphysical vision for this country and the various groups who've contributed to this vision through hard work, through a lot of tough times. As you can see, we've got several groups here that have been through a lot. And I'm looking forward to hearing from other people as well as we go through this. Last week we looked at African Americans and slavery. We explored that. Today we're going to explore women in our country and the way that they have forged the frontier for us here. Because we lean on these people. We lean on what they've established. And there's so much that's easy to take for granted that they have done. So we're going to talk about that today. And Jackie is our speaker. Come on
Next
up.
week, we're going to have the Native Americans.
We're going to have Philip talking about Native Americans, which I'm looking forward to learning about.
Oh, there's my people.
Yes, and what we have up here, as she's preparing to come up, on the top from left to right, we have Elizabeth Cady Stanton. And on the right, we have Susan B. Anthony. And on the bottom, we all know who Hillary Clinton is. Then Myrtle Fillmore, Amelia Earhart, and Kamala Harris. I wanted to put so many more on there because you have quite a few really neat names, but I couldn't fit them all on there.
Yeah, and I think after I went home, I couldn't find my list either,
Oh, you
so I had to
couldn't?
make it again.
You could have asked. I could have had your list.
Did you get that thing I sent you? That
I sure did. I've got that in there as well,
Oh.
along with Rosie the Riveter.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Good morning. What about the women? Today I want to share some of the roles and contributions made by women in this country since 1776, the year of the Declaration of Independence. A lot of my research has come from a new book written by Nora O'Donnell entitled We the Women, and it's subtitled The Hidden Heroes Who Shaped America. Nora O'Donnell is known to many of us as CBS News correspondent and the anchor and managing editor of CBS Evening News, which is the oldest and most revered evening news broadcast in America. There are several quotes from well-known people on the book jacket, but I'd like to share one by Doris Kearns Goodwin. By skillfully weaving together individual stories of groundbreaking women, this terrific book reveals the central though often hid role of the role that women have played at every stage of our country's history. And it's true, it's a very fascinating book. So at this time, I'd like to enumerate some of these women. 1881, the American Red Cross, founded by nurse and educator Clara Barton in Washington, D.C., with Richard Locke. 1932, Amelia Earhart became the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean from Newfoundland to Northern Ireland in 15 hours. 1976, U.S. Military Academy at West Point included female cadets for the first time. 119 women were in the class of 1980. 1981, President Ronald Reagan nominated Arizona Judge Sandra Day O'Connor to become the first female justice on the U.S. Supreme Court. Mary Catherine Goddard is the only woman's signature on the Declaration of Independence. She had inherited a print shop and printed the document and distributed it. She is also the first woman to mount a full national campaign for U.S. presidency, something I did not know until I read it. Mary McLeod Bethune led the Black Cabinet during FDR's presidency and opened the first black hospital in Florida. Frances Perkins was the architect of the New Deal under Franklin Roosevelt and was the first female cabinet member. Dr. Elizabeth Blackwell was the first woman admitted to a medical school. Several other women before her success had applied and were rejected. She persevered through 29 rejections and graduated at the top of her class in 1849. Dr. Mary Edwards Walker was the first and only woman to receive the Medal of Honor, the nation's highest military decoration awarded by the President of the United States. She was the first female U.S. Army surgeon and was captured by Confederate soldiers April 10, 1865. Mercy Otis Warren got educated by getting her father to let her sit in on her brother's lessons. She is considered the leading female intellectual of the Revolution and the early Republic. She felt the Constitution centralized too much power in the federal government. She was a muse of the Bill of Rights, but did not advocate more legal rights for women. Susan B. Anthony, woman's suffragist. Catherine Wright, sister of the Wright brothers. Catherine supported her brothers Wilbur and Orville while teaching school and running the family bicycle shop, because otherwise there was no income for their projects. She helped with public relations as they got the first Army contract for an airplane, and it was $25,000. Babe Didrikson Zaharias, famous athlete, and Billie Jean King. Both of these women, I will not go into detail, but made great strides for women in athletic activities. Shirley Chisholm in 1968 became the first black woman elected to Congress. Rosie the Riveter, catchy name for women who worked in the factories and the plants, just a minute, I'll finish that. On the next page. During World War II, women answered the call on the home front, increasing their participation in the workforce. They filled roles in factories, shipyards, and transportation hubs, becoming welders, electricians, machinists, and streetcar operators. Hence the creation of Rosie the Riveter. They helped produced nearly 300,000 aircraft, 100,000 tanks, and over 44 billion rounds of ammunition. They kept the economy going at home and helped the Allies win the war. Because at that time, all eligible men who would have had these jobs were serving in the military. A couple of additional women I want to add in is Hillary Clinton, First Lady, and ran a serious campaign for President of the United States, and Kamala Harris, Vice President of the United States and a candidate for president. Personally, this investigation about women's history was an eye-opener for me. What we'd call the old days, women's role was quite limited. I was shocked to learn how many things I take for granted living today in 2026 that were not permitted to women even at the turn of the century. We have the freedom to vote, freedom to speak in public, freedom of dress, freedom to own businesses and earn a living at most all professions that men have. When I graduated high school in 1955, I felt there were only a few choices of career for me: secretary, nurse, and teacher. My mother had been a secretary and didn't recommend that choice, and I fainted at the sight of blood, so that left teaching. I started to pursue that, but left to get married and raise a family. When I think back to my school days, I do remember that most of my teachers were single women, as I guess was the custom. I am proud of the strong women in my immediate lineage. My grandma, Lelia Bassett Smith, who raised her 3 children after the death of her husband, and my mom, Georgia Garnett Smith Rice, who earned income while staying at home as a stay-at-home mom by raising boarding babies from the Children's Home Society. She got them right from the hospital and took care of them until their unwed mothers signed them over to adoption. I have a picture of her with number 150, but there were many more after that. Obviously, she was a woman who did not need very much sleep because she could take the night shift for these babies, which most people couldn't. Also, my mother-in-law, Aileen Milligan Morrison, who worked as a secretary and a paint department consultant while raising my husband. She also worked as a cook on a farm owned by the owners and founders of Schöneman's department store in St. Paul, Minnesota. This is when my husband was little, so she could have him with her. We just found a newspaper clipping that she saved from June 10th, 1914. At that time, she lived in DeKalb, Illinois. It says, Chicago women are denied the right to vote for United States Senator in an opinion being prepared today for the County Election Board by Attorney Charles N. Mitchell. The opinion holds the election board cannot assume legislative powers. A delegation of Chicago suffragists recently appeared before the board and argued for the right to vote for senator. End quote. My mother-in-law always said her father told her never to miss an election now that women have the right to vote. And I don't think she ever did. It took 144 years after America's founding for the 19th Amendment to be passed in 1920. The Women's Rights Convention of Seneca Falls, New York, held July 1848, was attended by Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Lucretia Mott, and Susan B. Anthony, and many others. Their Declaration of Sentiments was signed by 68 women and 32 men. By the time this passed as the 19th Amendment, only one of the original attendees of the convention was still alive. Because it took 72 years till it passed, Charlotte Woodward Pierce was the only attendee still alive. She was too ill to vote because she was in her 90s. Since 1962, I have had the benefit of 3 women physicians and am served at a dental practice owned by a woman that employs women dentists. I have had the benefit of being spiritually taught and fed by 4 female clergy persons: Reverend Margaret Stevens, Reverend Irma Eastman, Reverend Joan Baker, and Reverend Jan Chase. The last 3 were at Unity of Pomona. Before I speak about Elizabeth Cady Stanton, I would like to note the important women in the history of our unity movement. Myrtle Fillmore lived 1845 to 1931. She was the co-founder of Unity in 1889. She and her husband Charles were discovering spiritual principles they could use for physical healing. They shared insights in Unity magazine and eventually built Unity Village, and that is our movement's headquarters this very day. May Rowland, 1890 to 1977. May was director of Silent Unity Prayer Ministry for 55 years. She began work in 1916, just after high school graduation, taking over the prayer room from Myrtle Fillmore. H. Emily Cady, 1848 to 1941. She was a turn-of-the-century homeopathic physician in New York who treated her patients both medically and spiritually. Her writings were compiled into the Unity text, Lessons in Truth. Martha Smock, 1913 to 1984. Martha was editor of Daily Word for 35 years, beginning in 1944. She studied under Charles Fillmore as a teenager and was hired as a letter writer for the Silent Unity Prayer Ministry. She said, "Daily Word serves as a daily reminder that nothing is hopeless or impossible, and reaffirms that we are spiritual beings who can meet any situation happily, effectively, and constructively." 1826 to 1876. Most women living in the early 19th century could not imagine a world in which their opinions mattered. Women's duties are within the quiet seclusion of home, author Mrs. A.J. Graves wrote in her influential book, Women in America, in 1841. Whenever she neglects these duties or goes out of this sphere of action to mingle in any of the great public movements of the day, she is deserting the station which God and nature have assigned her. The book was part of the broader cult of domesticity movement championed by Catherine Beecher. Maria Stewart, a freeborn black woman living in Boston, rose to prominence in 1832 when she became the first American-born woman of any race to give a series of public lectures. She became famous for asking, "What if I am a woman?" This was later echoed by Sojourner Truth, who declared in her famous speech in 1851, "Ain't I a woman now?" Considered one of the most important abolitionist and women's rights speeches in American history. These women asked over and over, why don't the principles of this new nation apply to us? Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Susan B. Anthony were important getting the Women's Rights Convention meetings started in Seneca Falls, New York But although Susan was a single lady, Elizabeth was very much married and had a lot of difficulty attending the meetings due to 6 pregnancies and difficult delivery conditions. Her sudden absences irritated Susan. It was much later in history when any birth control information was available. I guess that's probably why my grandmother was one of 11 children. Currently, we've all heard the news that Darlene Graham is going to fill the remaining U.S. Senate term vacated by her brother Lindsey Graham because of his recent death. I find that very exciting, actually. In conclusion, I've only scratched the surface of this subject, but I hope you get some idea of the huge influence and changes initiated by many concerned women who were willing, faithful advocates for human rights and change. Many suffered ridicule, personal danger, and imprisonment for just speaking out and rallying supporters. They had so much courage, and they were up against entrenched and established gender roles. These women took up the cause of women's disenfranchisement, slavery, education rights, and prohibition. They fought and protested so that all men created equal included everyone. And I feel it could only happen in one nation under God.
Can you grab those for you?
No, well,
It's a lot to...
I took people to books. Oh, and we were, well, getting seated is
That's okay, we've got
a bit of
time.
a challenge.
Hey, we've got time, that's my theory.
Good.
Everybody, please give her another hand. That was such a good talk. I really appreciate it, Jackie.
It's fun looking at the nice pictures that Jack put on for me.
I wanted to put so many more up there. I had such a good time finding them. Yeah. So, as somebody who's, a lot of you know I'm trans, and these women, for me personally, it's because of what they've done that I'm able to be the person that I am today too. Because these women were strong enough to help women find a voice, find a place, and be able to do things they never could do before. There would have been no way I could live the life I lived back then. So, in my own personal way, I am profoundly grateful for the work these women have done, because my life is so much richer for it on so many levels. So, before we have special music, I'd like to just pray briefly. So we breathe in deeply. Exhale. Breathing in the truth of who we all are in this room. That we are all people brought here together. We all have a voice at the table. And we are grateful for the people who have struggled for that, because our struggle is so much less because of them. We are grateful for the strength of the community we have here, and for the ripple effect in history that continues outward because of all of the strong individuals in this world, especially these women who've stepped up and have the courage to do the things that they have done. It wasn't just for themselves, it was for the greater good of humanity. So we're grateful for that. We're grateful to know that we have better lives because of them, and that this country, metaphysically, is so much more embracing and powerful for it. So we give thanks, we give gratitude for all of the people and our ancestors who've come before us and stood in their strength and their courage and their tenacity for us and for this world. And so it is. And so Julie, her song is so perfect.
Oh, I was hoping to kind of maybe get to work on that one.
Oh, you're not doing that today, okay.
I just got the music today, so it will be better in the future. Okay, so
I stand.
I'm not that brave. How about that?
Oh, well, the song it's called "If I Were Brave." But
Yeah, so forthcoming.
it's forthcoming.
So I have just something kind of fun for you, and I was kind of curious what this really meant. And this is a bossa nova piece by Antonio Carlos Jobim. It's called Desafinido, which means out of tune, and it had different lyrics. The translation in the lyrics is about a couple and they're out of tune with each other, but that was not what the original was about. I thought that was really interesting. And I think this is really great. You must know that you cause me great pain when you say that I'm off key. Only a privilege of her your equal. So I possess what God has given me. You insist on classifying my performance as unmusical. Lying to myself, I argue that this is bossa nova and it's very natural. What you do not know or even sense is that I have my tune. There is also a tune in my heart, and it reveals your enormous ingratitude. Do not speak thus of my love that you have been able to see. You have forgotten that music above all is what is carried within the tune. Deep within its breast there beats within my breast also a tune. So I guess you might be talking about this. It's talking about equality. So, but not just maybe between genders, but between the talented and the untalented. So anyway, I thought it's a really fun song, and it's kind of fun because it does have. The melody kind of goes all over the place because it's talking about being out of tune. So if you can think of Simon Cowell saying that was pitchy, this song is a little pitchy. Okay, here we go.
nice. We all have our own melody within, and all of us are equal when we bring it to the table. That's what I was thinking about with what you said. I thought that was really neat. And I did. It's like even though there were shifting rhythms and all that, it still kept the tempo. That was really neat. So perfect. That's how we work as a collective. So, speaking of that, let us all collectively come together and say the prayer of protection, knowing that the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us wherever we are. God is, and all is well. And it is so true, all is well. So if you could join me down here, we'll come in a circle and sing the peace song together. For those of you who would like to remain in your seat, we'll gather around, we'll link you in the circle. Yeah.